good evening. Today we're here with Randy Griffitts, aka Teddy Bear. He also happens to be my husband and just one of my very favorite people. I really admire just you're just an inspiration to me as a wife. Just you're an amazing businessman, and just how you can also maybe inspire other business owners, families that are struggling right now with being overwhelmed on they have to move and just maybe bring some sort of peace to them and solutions on making the transition easier. And just well, first of all, tell me about your company.
Well, represent Homestead Transfer and Storage Company. We are a third generation moving and storage business down here in South Florida. My grandfather started it in 1955 down here. My mother took over the business after he passed away in 79.
Well, that's one of the reasons I actually thought of you, because originally there was a transition when there was the woman role, which kind of did it run. How long did your mother?
From 1979. Well, she worked for the family business since she graduated high school. She went to college at Miami-Dade Community College for her understudy classes, and also worked at the family business under the direction of my grandfather. And then in 1979, unfortunately, he suffered from colon cancer and passed away in December of 79. And at that point, my mother took over the business, and of course, my older brother Robert and myself, we were obviously young in 1979. I was 11, he was 13. But once both of us got out of high school, we, just like our mother, went to work for the family business, where my mother was our boss. So it was anybody that has worked with family knows that it's challenging at times. You have a personal relationship and a business relationship, and they're all combined in one. So there's no break. But my mother was unfortunately, again, tragically killed in a car accident in 1999. And after that point, my brother and I, although we were working for the family business, we actually took over ownership at that point, and we've been running it ever since. It's now almost ending 2022, so we've been running it co-partners for 23 years.
Okay.
My brother and I.
That's amazing. What are some of the things that you guys can, that you provide? Let's say I'm moving, I have to move in the next 30 days. Is that something that, how would I go about it?
Well, obviously there's some planning to make sure that you have put in place before you hire a moving company.
Okay.
Obviously do your due diligence on the company that you're going to choose.
So if I, usually, right, one of the things is that it can be overwhelming. Just maybe I'll go to why is it better to go through your company versus maybe go rent a truck and have my boys just load everything up?
It all depends on obviously the size of your job, the budget that you have,
okay,
and the distance that you're moving. A lot of people, the ongoing joke in our line of business is that people will only move themselves one time, because it is hard work, and after that experience one time, that's why we're here. We're the professionals. It's what we do 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And obviously we have a very efficient system to move everyone's household goods safely, which is important. You want your stuff to look the way it looks here. You want it to look that way at your new home.
Well, and actually, one of the things that I have admired about the way you guys work is, I mean, we moved a few times, and I didn't have to move a plate, like,
Yeah.
not even a plate. And then when we moved into the new home, the guys put the box right where like the kitchen stuff went, and the living room and the bedroom. So it made that transition just awesome.
It's again a proven system that has worked over 100 years in our industry, and we'd like to think that we've experienced all the do's and don'ts over the years, and we know the most efficient way to get stuff transported safely and in a timely manner. So back to your original question, as far as the planning that's concerned, if you're moving locally, something small, and you're young at heart, and by all means, your most cost-effective way to do it would be to get a U-Haul truck and get some friends, grab a few pizzas and some beer, and have them move your stuff.
What's one of the things that you always say before any move?
Before any move.
Or like,
I'm drawing a blank.
I've heard you say this. If you don't need it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's obviously, especially when you're paying, like if you should use a professional company like mine on any move that is being transported over 100 miles, you're being charged by weight and mileage. So obviously, since you are getting charged by weight, and again, we're happy to move whatever you want, but that's certainly a way that you can help keep cost levels down by purging, going through that spring cleaning of your house and things that you haven't used, and you're not sentimentally attached to them. It really doesn't make any sense to pay to transport something that you're not using or needing anymore. So.
Right. Well, and one of the things that I've also noticed that you do is for your customers, I've heard you you bring the cost down by helping with, like, you provide boxes, and sometimes they can just put the things away themselves. How does that work, right?
Well,
is
again,
that a solution?
Absolutely. We are a full service company, but again, there are ways that the customer or the consumer can help lower the cost of the job. And packing your own stuff, as you mentioned, is certainly a huge way that you can help keep your own costs down.
Well, and you guys provide the free boxes, you guys.
Used boxes we do provide at no cost.
Okay.
That's obviously a selling tool that we use, and folks that are moving into the area, when they unpack, we do provide a service to go pick up those used boxes. And again, that's something that we use to solicit new business, because that is, especially with today's market and the increases that we've had in cardboard and packing materials, you can save hundreds of dollars by getting free boxes from your mover. So obviously, if we can provide that to our new customers, that's certainly an incentive to have them book with us. Again, that inventory fluctuates. It's basically on as a stock level. In other words, we don't guarantee used boxes if we don't have any, so they fluctuate. But most of the times we have a good supply of used boxes, and we can provide what our customers need.
Okay.
To do that.
Well, just thinking, this is maybe one of the things like it's maybe, would you say that it's maybe one of the things that don't go cheap on when it comes to moving? It's like, it's already such a stressful situation. To bring your own peace of mind and well-being, would you say that it's like, just, make your saving, make it part of the moving plan, just like incorporate it into.
Yeah, I mean, if you're moving, if you're middle-aged folks like us or elderly, you're not going to be moving yourself, so you're going to need to hire a moving company. Unfortunately, our industry as a whole has a bad reputation due to the deregulation of our industry back in the early 80s, which opened the door for two guys in a U-Haul truck to become a moving company.
Well, and what would you say right there? What's the difference between the two guys in the moving company, like Juan and Juan Moving Company versus North American Landlines, Homestead and North American?
Well, we are a national affiliate, meaning that we are a franchise. We are the local North American franchise down here in South Florida, and obviously working for a nationally affiliated Van Lines who does work for the government, military, all kinds of different contracts. They hold us to a very high standard on how we do things.
So it's safer. You guys provide insurance.
We do, and there's accountability.
Okay.
Two guys in a truck, and again, I'm not talking bad about any person that's trying to start their own business.
No, but this is to inform the people also. Like, don't be fooled by
absolutely.
by it looks.
Well, I always tell my customers, I understand that I can't get every job that I put an estimate out on, but to do their due diligence and to, it's always recommended with whatever you buy that you get 3 estimates for any kind of service that you're potentially wanting to use.
Okay.
And just make sure you're comparing apples with apples and not apples with oranges.
Okay. One of the things that I do admire about your company is that I've heard you just on your estimates just say this is like a closed price. If you say this is what it's gonna be, you stick by that word or less.
Correct.
Like on the weight, you sometimes can go less, it doesn't go over, versus maybe a random person from the street will say, oh, it's gonna be this, but at the end of the day, they'll show up to your home and say, oh, it happens to be $1,000 more, and then they won't give you your stuff. Like, I've heard horror stories about people not getting their stuff because it was more.
Correct. And that's why I said it's important that you are selective and do your due diligence on the moving company that you're going to be turning over everything you own to. Again, our company here, we offer estimates based, it's a guaranteed not to exceed price. So it puts a cap on your move. And obviously, as you mentioned, the price can go less, just not more. And that's, of course, assuming that the customer is not going to add another bedroom set that they bought at City Furniture in between the time the estimate was done.
Yeah, people don't get slick.
Yeah, so I mean, there's pros and there's yin and yang to every situation. But as long as everything is shown to us when we do the pre-move survey, I offer either guaranteed prices, which is a flat price, meaning it won't fluctuate up or down, or a guaranteed not to exceed price.
Okay, that's awesome.
Which puts a cap on it. But should you go through your process and you get rid of things, of course you don't want to have to pay for something that you're not now moving. So most folks go with a guaranteed not to exceed price because it gives them the best of both worlds. It puts a cap on the job, but if they should get rid of some things in between the time the survey was done,
I can bring it down. Okay.
You can lower the cost. And
Awesome.
on my estimate, it's not some erroneous number that, it's going to be less. On my estimate, I provide a dollar amount for every 100 pounds less the shipment possibly weighs. That will be deducted proactively from the bottom line price.
Okay. Awesome.
So,
Just okay, great. I got a lot of information. One last question. Maybe two. How long have your guys been working for you?
well, I have a couple guys that are one just celebrated 30 years. And I have another one that's going to be with me 30 years in March of next year.
Okay.
But the overall staff has been with me for over 20 years collectively. So we pay our guys well, and that's because they do a good job. And we believe in treating our employees, like family.
No, I have seen that. I've seen that, and that's something that's just so admirable. I know that your brother and your sister-in-law they're amazing. They're very, you guys are you're just good people. Just the good man around the corner, the good neighbor, just simple, to the point. Like, I know from you, no BS.
Yeah.
And just the guy was that. Just because I know you guys did the gift giving to one of your employees
recently, one of our employees celebrated 30 years with the company. So as a gesture and a thank you for 30 years of service, we purchased a pickup truck for him and provided it to him as a thank you, paid in full, covering his insurance and also giving him a tank of fuel per week.
Wow.
Until he either retires or
Well, and that just because I know it's super special, because I think he didn't have a vehicle at all. Like, he's never had a vehicle.
I mean,
right?
he's never owned a vehicle since he's worked for our company.
That's crazy.
Him
30 years.
him and his two brothers worked for me and my family, and two of the brothers, him being one of them, lived together. So the other brother had a vehicle, so it was like they wherever he went, wherever one went, the other one went. So.
It's a family business all around.
Well, yeah, and I mean, hey man, different things are important to different people, and as long as both of them were single guys, and I mean they're in their 60s now, and as long as one of them had a vehicle, that was fine. But we felt that he is our lead driver. In the 30 years that he's been working for me, he's never gotten a speeding ticket, never a parking ticket. No traffic violations in 30 years, and certainly I can't say that, and not too many people I can believe say that either. So again, as a result of his hard work and my other employees' hard work, it's provided a modest, comfortable lifestyle for me and my family, you being included, and our
Yes.
kids for many years, and it's the right thing to do, and we treat our employees like they are part of our family. So if we're successful, we want our employees to be successful too, and enjoy the fruits of their hard labor.
That's beautiful.
So.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I brought you in, is because you guys are very it's like I said, you're like the good neighbor next door. You guys are a big company, but you take care of your own, and that's something that maybe people get away from, like in this new era. It's just you think of the people that are there, and you're caring, and I know your sister-in-law does a lot of charity, right?
She does. She's involved in Sir Optimus.
Okay.
And, my brother was involved with Rotary for many years.
Okay.
So, and these are all values that my grandfather was part of the Civitans Club for many years, Military Affairs Committee. My brother also was part of the Military Affairs Committee. My mother was part of the Sir Optimus, Homestead Sir Optimus group, and Adrian is followed in line with that tradition, and she's been the president of the Sir Optimus Club, I believe, on 2 occasions. And so I think it's important that they say it takes a village to raise a family, and we believe in giving back and taking care of our people and our community. Your comment about how we operate our business is a direct result, and it branched off from my grandfather. That's the way, obviously times were different back in the 50s, where a handshake and a promise was all that you needed. That's not the case today, but we like the old-fashioned way of doing business. Say what you mean, do what you say, and you don't play games with people. So.
I've seen that since I've known you, and it's definitely very admirable. You're a great example, and that's one of the just main things. It's right, how to inspire even other people to don't forget those good roots that we were given. Just be a good person, be a man of your word, and
it's a fast-paced world out there, but there's certain things that the old saying goes, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So You know, our best advertising dollars are not spent. It's word of mouth.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I'm
Yeah.
like,
You do a good job for people. You work hard. You're honest. You have integrity, and you know, do them a good job. They're going to refer you all day long. And you know, our business has been around for 67 years, based on that motto. So it's worked for 67 years, and it continues to work today. So
okay, if somebody wants to move, how can they get a hold of you guys?
it's Homestead Transfer and Storage Company. We are an interstate agent for North American Van Lines, which is one of the top 5 moving companies in the world.
Okay.
Our phone number is 305-247-5012. You can ask for Adrian, my sister-in-law, or my brother Robert. They're in the office Monday through Friday from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I do all the outside sales, so if you should need an estimate, I'd probably be the one that would go out either to your house, take a look at your household goods, or do a virtual video call with you via the Zoom app. Take a look at what you have. I record the calls, and we get firm pricing put together based on that,
Well,
that
awesome, and
information.
that's even more convenient, because if I live in Fort Lauderdale, you know, just
Absolutely, technology is great. It's a blessing and a curse all at the same time. So,
all right, Randy, thank you so much for your time.
thank you for having me. Thank you for taking a few minutes to learn a little bit about my business. All right.